6 games coming to GFN this week, Xbox and GeForce Now team up, but to kick things off for this GeForce Now Thursday, let's discuss the latest updates on the 4080 SuperPod rollout. This week, Paris is the latest city to light up, so if you connect to those servers and are an Ultimate Tier member, you can now enjoy that sweet 4K 120fps experience. In addition to this, it's also worth noting that US East is now also listed as upgrade in progress, and while it doesn't mean that this will be the next server to go live, at the very least we know that work is currently being done on it. I'll be sure to keep you all updated on any progress that's made on the channel as soon as it happens, so stay tuned for that, but now let's talk about the big news of the day. As I discussed in yesterday's video, Microsoft and Nvidia have now signed a 10-year agreement to bring all Xbox PC titles to GeForce Now. And yes, that means everything from Xbox Game Studios, from Minecraft to Doom, it's all part of the deal. Likewise, if the purchase of Activision Blizzard closes, Microsoft has already committed that any of those titles will also be added. The likes of Overwatch, Diablo, and Call of Duty on GFN would be absolutely massive and quite the sight to see, but once again, Activision Blizzard titles only make their way over if Microsoft's acquisition is successful. There are a few other important details we need to go over when it comes to this deal that we've just recently learned about. First up, the goal is to add new release titles as close to day and date as possible when it comes to the PC game releases from Xbox. When it comes to rolling out games, Nvidia plans to roll out just a few titles a week. This is due to the company not having the capacity to do more than around 10 titles per week at this point in time. They currently plan on adding the first Microsoft games to GFN in the next few weeks from Steam and the Epic Game Store. It's estimated that it'll take around between 6 to 12 months to enable the Microsoft Store catalog and enable all existing games, but it's important to note that that's just an estimation, as this agreement and deal between Nvidia and Microsoft just came together about a week ago. That information really does put things into perspective. Now, to address the question that everyone keeps asking, what about Game Pass? Well, you'll get a very PR answer of there being no announcement about Game Pass right now. It's not a yes, it's not a no, it's more so a wait and see. Personally, I see it happening once the Microsoft Store gets fully integrated into GFN, but that's just my guess. I know there's a lot of excitement and hype about this news, and rightfully so, but just be aware that this is kind of happening in the moment and it will take some time before everything catches up to full speed. There is a process to onboarding games to GFN. It's not as easy as flipping a switch and having all the games suddenly appear, but I'm with all of you hoping the wait won't be too long before I can start cruising around in Forza Horizon 5 on GFN. But now let's get to the games arriving this week, and I gotta say, while there's only 6, 3 of them are sure to be pretty big hits among users. First up is Atomic Heart, which is described as a mad and sublime utopian world where you take part in explosive encounters. The game itself seems heavily inspired by the BioShock series, and a lot of similar mechanics are built into the game. Things like upgrading your equipment and supernatural abilities are all here. And speaking purely on the visuals, I gotta say, the game looks pretty fantastic. I do want to point out though that the game has received a bit of mixed reception. It seems to be an either love it or hate it type of game. Following that, we have another big new release, and that's Blood Bowl 3, which you can pick up on Steam or the Epic Game Store. This iconic death sport returns with a new video game of fantasy football, faithfully using the latest board game rules and new content. In it, you'll get to create your team, then crush, mulch, and cheat your way all the way to the top. The game includes 12 factions to choose from, a brand new solo campaign, and multiple competitive modes to play in. If you're a longtime fan, you should definitely not miss out on this. Now moving on to big game number 3 I really want to shine a light on this week, it's Sons of the Forest, which is a new release you can pick up on Steam. At the time of this recording, it currently sits as the most wish-listed game on Steam, and if you've played its predecessor, you'll know exactly why. There's nothing quite like it, and it seems to be the best survival game on the market, at least in my opinion. I think it's more than fair to say that Sons of the Forest has a lot to live up to. You'll have to craft, build, and struggle to survive alone or with friends in a terrifying open-world survival horror simulator. Now, I do want to point out that the game is launching into early access, and they expect the early access period to last around 6 to 8 months, but that could change. Regardless, I'm personally excited to play this one with a few groups of buddies that I played The Forest with, and I can't wait to see what's in store. Now let's take a look at Chef Life, a restaurant simulator, which you can pick up on Steam. You'll get to create and manage your dream restaurant, from the menus to purchasing decor to hiring staff, equipment, and dealing with customers. You'll experience the daily life of a restaurateur as you earn awards from your Michelin guide. Not a game in particular that speaks to me, but it is described as an immersive sim for anyone who's ever wanted to live that sort of life. Now we're taking a look at Ember Knights, which you can pick up on Steam. It's an early access title described as an action roguelite for 1 to 4 players where you play as legendary knights, the last spark of hope against the mad sorcerer Praxis. In it, you'll wield weapons and skills, build synergies with game-changing relics, and free the universe of corruption. The game's got an early access roadmap posted on Steam, and they do seem to be having very regular updates. But even more important than that is the game's overwhelmingly positive review score on Steam with over 1,000 reviews. It seems to be some great co-op roguelite action fun. The last title being added this week is Cartel Tycoon on the Epic Game Store. If that sounds familiar, it's because it was added last week on Steam. Because of that, I won't be going into it too much, but simply put, if you've ever dreamed of running your own 80s narco trade, this is the game for you. And with that, we've wrapped up this GFN Thursday. Just a ton of exciting news to look forward to in the coming weeks. I'm sure a lot of people are super hyped about the Xbox GFN partnership, and I'll be sure to update you all on any info as it drops right here on the channel. Now, if you enjoyed today's video or found it helpful at all, be sure to hit that like button as it really does help the channel out, and if you're wanting more content like this, be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell as well. As always, thank you for watching the video. This has been the Virtual Cloud, giving you the latest and greatest on everything cloud gaming related, and until next time, I'll catch you in the clouds.